up?
Welcome back. This is the Underground Crypto, back at it again. And just a reminder, sign up for the 500 XLM giveaway. We're giving away 500 XLMs. To enter, subscribe, like the video. We're also giving away a Ledger Nano hardware wallet to keep your tokens offline, to be safe in December. So we're doing a lot. So hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, right? So today we are talking about Meridian Day 2 recap, and boy, was it exciting. So I watched the video, so you don't have to watch them. So I'll give you the recap of what went down, right? So in a nutshell, right, the focus of Day 2 was global and financial connections and inclusions, right? So really looked at how females can get inclusions into blockchain, also the globe, also the unbanked. So that was kind of like the theme for Day 2, right? So some things, some highlights I'd like to mention there is public dashboards, right? So that's one thing that they're looking to bring forward, like as a new feature. So volume, seeing the volume coming in and out of Nigeria. So that's one thing that they'd like to see, right? Anchors interoperability between different assets, right? So that was also highlighted. Stable coins manage high volatility. There was also some great demos, right? Demos showing transactions to wallet using anchors. So great demos that were done from the Stellar partners there. And another great feature that they liked, the partners, were the UX. It's built with the users in mind. So this is a great blockchain with Stellar and everything. So a lot of positive news, and you wouldn't expect them to say otherwise anyway, right? But a lot of positive news, and we can see that from the demos that they were giving, right? Also, some other things that were shown was embedded experience to manage account, right? Transfer fiat money using Stellar SEP6. So that was also highlighted there. A lot of techie talk as well. So if you're not into the tech type of world, you get kind of lost, right? Combination of Stellar features to send money across African nations cross-border. That was also highlighted here. They showed a demo. This was very cool, right? They embedded transactions within WhatsApp using SEP6 and Anchor. So it's like the same web interface wallet, and that was embedded into WhatsApp. So you can see money being transferred in WhatsApp. So, and that was like real live money too. So they did a demo of that. So that was incredible. That was very, very nice. All right. So again, the theme was inclusion and infrastructure. Inclusion will drive the future. Inclusion of the global connections, women, and everything. So we're going to talk about three key speeches, and then I'll play a clip of one with the senator. I think Danelle Dixon stole the show again. So this one, blockchain policy, the opportunities and challenges. And I'm going to play some clips of this, and this one was, I think, the best one, you know? So we're going to play a clip of that, but let me just give some highlights of what she was saying here. The president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, right? So some highlights there, right? So she mentioned global infrastructure will reach the unbanked. What she wants to see is how to ensure that they reach everyone needed for growth and trade, right? She wants to also see increasing cashless technology. Digital technology will expand with physical element, right? Also, she sees a blocker of being the infrastructure is weak and the capacity is not strong enough. So that's a drawback of having digital currency. I don't think she was totally a big fan of digital currency based on what I was hearing she was saying and everything. So she was saying we need to strengthen the infrastructure, strengthen the knowledge to the people, and increase the capacity. Also have the environment ready for this new technology. So regulation. So if you don't have the environment ready, then it's not gonna they're not gonna take liking to it. And if we also think about music as well, digital music took 20 years. I think it was 1996 the first digital music was created and sent over the internet, and then it took full adoption 20 years later. So it's gonna take this maybe around the same time or even less, right? So some other things she mentioned: inclusion to capture a wide array of financial products, so that meets the needs in a safe and sustainable way, right? So those were some key highlights there. So we're gonna move to the next one here. Right, so this one was very good, right? Danelle Dixon had a great interview with Representative Warren Davidson, U.S. House of Representatives out of Ohio, and this is what we need. We need the government to be included in the blockchain discussion. So some key highlights talked about here: how to restructure it and how it could be done within blockchain. So he mentioned the U.S. government's looking to that. And a question was asked: why is there a bad stigma with crypto for laundering money, where it's done with fiat all the time? So that was a great question by the audience. And what he mentioned is that, yes, it's done with fiat, but it's also done with Bitcoin, and there is the unknown. So there's some, with the unknown, there's some time that will take to have the government understand what it can do, what it cannot do, because they need to trace where the money goes. And right now they're not able to trace Bitcoin, right? So also they discussed Taxonomy Act, right? Creates a custody standard, clear custodian of assets. So that's the benefit of that act. So I think they're looking to pass that act in the House of Representatives. Minimize tax exemption, so that's another key point that was brought out. Also creates clarity. So Warren Davidson is pretty much up on blockchain, but not everyone else in Washington D.C. is. So it's creating that clarity, right? Also ensuring that it's secure. So that's one key thing there. And these other sessions were good as well, right? And the one with Jed McCaleb here, I think that was late at night. Wait, did I skip? I think I skipped it here. Nope, it's further down, right? Oh, this one was pretty good too. The demos that I mentioned, right? So the demos are pretty good, those 4 demos. And the interview with, the fireside chat with Danelle Dixon and Jed McCaleb, that was good. That was good. I don't think Jed was so happy to be on camera in the evening, though. He didn't smile that much. But still, he's the creator of XRP and XLM, right? So he could smile or not smile, do what he want, right? So some key things described there was having a permissionless network, right? From Danelle, it was a focus on what she liked so far is how it focuses on refugees with Leaflet, so that's like like a big thing there. And for Jed, it's seeing Vibrant, which I think is a feature, become real. But definitely a great chat here, and I think they're going to chat again in today's session. All right, so that's a recap of day 2. Definitely a good one there. And I'm just going to play this video here. I'm going to play a little bit of it here, and definitely some good things. Right? It's probably like 6 minutes long, but it's well worth it. If you want to fast forward, turn up your volume, definitely do it. But we're going to play this.
I also, I noted that there seems to be a divide amongst the Republicans and the Democrats in terms of the focal point and what it should be used for and how to do it. So what do you think that we as an industry can do to help you to move things forward, like the Token Taxonomy Act and other momentous pieces of legislation that we could actually help to really stabilize this industry?
Yeah, so good question. And look, in the FinTech Task Force, that was a great thing Maxine Waters set up to kind of deal with, FinTech broadly. But the dividing line isn't really between Republicans and Democrats. There are, people on both sides of the aisle that love the central authority. There's a leading Democratic voice in the issue that literally wants the government to have essentially a super node that can drop a veto card on any transaction, and there's no privacy. The government basically gets a view of everything that happens and who the identities are behind everything, and literally the idea of a central bank digital currency to them is great, because then the government can actually know everything about every transaction everywhere all the time, and there's a record of it, so it's great. Now we can keep everyone safe, right? So that's a viewpoint that some Republicans share, and there are people that say, well, the only reason that you would want to digitize any of this is to evade taxes or launder money, and there are people who are Republicans and Democrats that do that. Unfortunately, with Democrats in the majority, some of the key leaders on the Democratic side of the aisle share that viewpoint, so that makes it challenging to move legislation through their subcommittees. I've been really impressed with Maxine Waters coming along with her understanding, and she really was more engaged in those 2 FinTech Task Force committee hearings that we had, back in maybe September, October timeframe, than I've seen her be on the issues. And so I think the key is to get people to actually understand the issues, and there will still be inherently that control versus decentralized. And I think as people understand how much more secure blockchain is as a computing network, the security protocols will win out. If you've got a central database, the system that the authoritarians, to make it party independent, want is the central authority controls everything, and the people that are more libertarian on the issue, Republicans and Democrats, say, well, look, I mean, you can look at things like Chainalysis and say, well, there's not true secrecy, but there is a layer of privacy. And because there's a true distributed ledger, you can follow all the things, and you can have at the endpoints still all your know your customer, Bank Secrecy Act protections that are essential. And you could comply with some of the goals, but you have to change the regulatory framework so that you can comply with them using the architecture that makes sense for where technology is. And if we don't provide that clarity, and it's not fear. This is already what's happening. In the absence of the United States getting the legal framework right, all this great talent that's in America, all this innovation and tech hub that's centered in the United States of America is going offshore, not to avoid our laws. It's to find some laws that have created legislative clarity. And so you see the investment going to places like Singapore, like Switzerland, even Malta, places where they've passed laws where you can know how you're going to be treated, versus the SEC under Chairman Clayton. They've really worked to avoid providing any clarity. And my hope is that we can resolve that from executive action, like Brian Brooks at the Office of Comptroller of Currency, clear progress there. We could do the same maybe with the new chair of the SEC. And then Congress ultimately is the body that if we really want it to be different, we could pass a law, and hopefully we can build the momentum to get that done.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all really true, and I do think that when there's this the notion that the plate tectonics are moving, then people get afraid, and we have seen some flight. One of the things that, and I liken back to the early days of the web, and I think about what we didn't do very well on the content side of the web is engage regulators and really get involved in helping, not just to create legislation, because I think mostly we were afraid of it, but we also didn't explain it in a way that was user-friendly. And I feel like on our side, on the industry side, we could do that even more. And I did feel Representative Waters was moving forward in terms of thinking about the use cases and actually seeing active work being done. And I think the more we can do that, the better, the more movement we can see. But I also want...
All right, so that's the clip right there. So Tanel Dixon, she's going to be on the forefront to help, with the clarity, helping gain clarity, for the congressmen and Senate and people in the government to understand, like, this is important, right? And Congressman Davidson, he's a big proponent on blockchain, Stellar. And you can see once we have regulation and everything, we won't have these companies leave because we don't want Stellar to leave the U.S. or XRP, right? So that's a recap there. Let me know what you think. Thanks a ton for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for the 500 XLM giveaway and also the hardware Ledger Nano S. All right, and we'll also be recording for day 3 of Meridian. Make sure to sign up. If not, I'll provide you with a recap. Staying clear of the closing doors. The next stop for Stellar is the moon. Let's get it.
We don't have that much competition. They would use Stellar to make their payments faster.